Hello. Welcome to the Magic We Have at Home podcast. I'm your host, Bjorn, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Ren and Bear. Go ahead and introduce yourself, gentlemen.
I'm Ren. Hi there. I'm the current all-time champion of all of our gameplay videos.
100% win rate.
100% win rate, and let me tell you, that is not going to go down next time
Oh my goodness.
because I have decided to become the supervillain that these two already treat me as.
That's great. Well, I'm Bear. I'm the second place finisher and all time second place champ. So, whatever you want to call that. There you go.
Professional runner-up.
I'm super glad to see that we're already just going to be power scaling. We'll be a CEDH podcast within the next month.
It's my goal.
So just prepare for that. Calling it right now. Um, so I guess just to get right off the bat to talk about Ren being a supervillain. Ren, I'm looking at your deck for this week, and I see that you have an entire category, not just a card, but an entire category labeled land destruction. So let's go ahead and explain what it is you're going for this week and why you have an entire category of cards labeled land destruction.
So, I decided that there's a commander that I've been thinking about for quite a while, but I was wondering how would I want to play him. It's Zevlor, Elturial Exile. He's a 1 in Grixis for a haste 4/2 Tiefling Warrior with pay 2 tap. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a single opponent or a single permanent an opponent controls this turn, for each other opponent, choose that player or a permanent they control and copy the spell. The copy targets that the chosen player or permanent. So basically, all those like 3 mana spells that are like, haha, I blow up one of your lands or do something like that for way too much mana. Well, if I almost double the price, then I can do it twice. So I figured I'd be playing Grixis Heavy Resource Denial because you can't lose your friends if they're all online.
It's true, we have all signed a legal binding saying that we have to play with you. So I can see how this could be a problem. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk us. So you're going to essentially just try resource denial in this game. I see you have land destruction. I see some mill. I see a lot of removal. I see some discard.
Yeah.
What like? So you're. I mean, you're just going to try to keep everyone else from having stuff.
A little bit. So I'm a big fan of like old evil supervillain movies where instead of like like the supervillains, nobody is like, oh, this guy was on the right side. Like, no, it's just like a scheming sorcerer in a tower, and so I kind of want to just play that like evil wizard feeling. Funny enough, I have to play as a tiefling warrior for that, but I basically just want to cast spells that I would normally think are garbage, and just double up on them to make sure that they're actually usable. So I'm gonna see how much value I could just kind of crank out of Zevlor and his abilities, because if
Mhm.
we like my one burn spell right now, I want to find more. Soren's Vengeance. It's a 7 cost card, but if we make it a 9 cost card, then it will deal 20 damage and I will gain 20 life. Like that's kind of crazy.
So you're
So
just looking for a lot of. I mean, that's your win con essentially. Is you're just trying to kill people.
yeah, I'm trying to kill
I
people with more
saw.
spells.
I really like Peer into the Abyss in this deck. Actually, I don't normally like that card, but I think that's a really funny card in this deck specifically.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so I technically have one in like 1 2 card combo, but it's 15 mana to pull off. So if I get that off, it's your guys' fault, I'd say. Oh no, it's 13 mana. But Bloodletter of Alkazotz doubles the amount of life that you guys would lose during my turn. Peer into the Abyss, one shots you like that. But I basically want to use like a bunch of sorceries and stuff in a non-storm way to just like chunk you guys down. Like I want to be casting
mhm.
big spells. I want to hurt you bad, and I think that would be honestly just a kind of fun way to play the game.
I just saw a card for this. Give me just a second. So have you? I am just curious. Have you thought about making cards that would untap Zevlor so you could get stuff from him multiple times in a turn?
I
Have you
did.
like has that idea come into mind?
Of course it did. I play my CEDH deck is Sylvala Heart of the Wild, so I know a bunch of those like untap equipments by heart. It's just I don't want to play this in like a stormy way. I want to play this in like a I cast one spell, you get chunked, and then I move on with my life.
Got it. Yeah,
I
you
don't
want like
think
just you essentially want one big spell a turn, kind of.
yeah, I want to be a wizard. I don't want to be a I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
some high DPS thing. I just want to throw a rock at you guys.
Got it. Okay. I think that's a really fun idea. Like, I mean, really, it's just finding those other big cards. And then I am curious, like, I mean, right now, looking at your deck list, you have 40 cards, not including lands. Um, so are you just kind of trying to fill out the deck then? Is that the general thing?
Yeah, I need to get more creatures. You've probably noticed that I've got like only 6 or 7 creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to find creatures that like really incentivize you not attacking me. That's why I'm going
Mm-hmm.
like um, Death Touch, Flying. Um, Serrated Scorpion is a great example. It's a 1/2 for 1 black pip. When it dies, each
Mm-hmm.
opponent it deals 2 damage to each opponent, and I gain 2 life. So like just finding creatures like that where in like they can just keep me up for long enough that I can get to my higher spell count things. Um, I
Yeah.
think that would be kind of
This
great.
is I mean, so you guys will see in just a sec when we move on to the deck that I'm doing, but it's actually very similar to this. So, uh, Bear, you're gonna be in for a ride this week. I don't know what it is you're playing yet, but you might be in for it. Uh, but like, okay, so here's one that I just found, Ren. Agonizing Memories. It's a sorcery, 2 black black. Look at target player's hand and choose 2 cards from it. Put them on top of that player's library in any order. Uh,
Mm.
I think that I mean that's essentially just each player discards 2 cards, but also you can pick 2 cards that are. It's almost even better than discarding 2 cards because you could choose to get rid of like their very good cards, which might be a good idea, especially if it's like their draw spells. You could put those down to just slow them down a ton. But you could also just like if you look at their hand and they have 3 or 4 lands and then a creature or two, you could also just take the lands and put them back on top just to be like, no, you're not going to draw anything useful for 2 more turns. uh, I think, yeah, Agonizing Memories I think is a pretty interesting one.
Yeah,
uh,
that actually reminded me of a card I know called Head Games, which is 3 black black. Target opponent puts the cards from his or her hand on the top of his or her library. Search that player's library for that many cards, and then they get those cards, and then everything gets shuffled back.
oh, that's
So
so funny. Yes,
yeah,
you
I
should
think for
absolutely
seven
run
mana,
that.
I can change both of your hands to all lands.
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. I think that's a really good idea. Uh, I mean, it's mean. It's gonna like it is mean, but I think if you're going for a super villain deck, that's absolutely the type of thing you want to be playing.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I don't want to be playing arch enemy, but I do want to be the supervillain. Like the morally, why did I build this deck?
Yeah, no,
Supervillain.
I like that a lot. Here's another one I found that's kind of fun. Alpha Brawl. It's a 6 and a red, or sorry, 6 and 2 red. So, but it's target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to each other creature that player controls. Then each of those creatures deals damage equal to its power to that creature. So you
Mm.
essentially, I mean, it's 8 mana for a board wipe essentially, but it's way funnier. Or I guess it's
But
10 mana for a board
it's
wipe.
10 mana, so
Yeah, have you
yeah,
considered like spell? You might actually probably should consider maybe some cost reduction stuff
yeah,
or really heavy ramp.
yeah. But I'm in
Um,
Grixis, so ramp is, I would say, generally
Ramp's
frowned upon
interesting.
by these colors.
Yeah, you probably are like you could do rituals. That's probably going to be your best bet. Between black and red, you do have a lot of access. I mean, you have dark ritual, cabal. What is it? Cabal. It's cabal ritual, right?
Yeah,
Um, there's a
sacrifice.
couple more. Yeah, burnt
Yeah,
offering. And then in red, you got like Mana Geyser.
Jessica's Will.
You can maybe throw in Jessica's Will. Yeah, there's cheaper ones. There's Mana Geyser, and there's another one. Seething Song, I think, adds 5 red mana for 3.
It does. Yes.
Mana
Bottle
Geyser is
Cap
better.
Blast is actually kind of crazy in this deck now that I think about it. For 2
Mhm.
additional mana, I can deal 5 damage to 2 creatures and get treasures equal to its difference.
Oh yeah, that is actually. Oh yeah, because it's that's the one where you deal the damage and then you get treasures equal to how much extra damage you dealt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. I think that that sort of thing. Treasures is actually maybe something you could look into as well. I've definitely done that. I have my Glissa deck that I like to play everything at instant speed, and so one of the things that I tried adding into that, and it worked okay, is just treasures. Like just because when you want to play stuff at instant speed, it's nice to be able to store your mana and stuff, and to just kind of have a lot of extra mana sitting around. And so yeah, treasures is really nice. So you could definitely go into treasures with red. There's plenty of stuff to go for that. I'm gonna see what I can find on Scryfall for.
Why the inclusion of Stuffy Doll?
That is a good question.
So it's just such a good blocker. Because if you swing at me... Wait, has this card gotten worse with how damage rules affect it?
What do you mean?
So now you get to, like, with Trample, you can assign, like, the 1 damage to it, and then would it technically...
I don't think that's any different.
Okay, so like if
no,
I
because
block
it has you have to assign lethal damage. It's a 0. Stuffy Doll's a 0/5, right?
0/1.
0/1. You would only have to assign 1 damage to it with Trample.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think that's normal though. I don't think that's anything special.
Yeah, but basically it's a good blocker. I can ditch it. It's just
No, it's fun. I just think most
Yeah.
people use it as a self-damaging device when they want to smack other people for damage. They find a spell or ability or something that deflects damage towards Stuffy Doll, and then that's just a way of rerouting it. But I haven't seen it used in a deck like this, unironically, or just as a blocker. So I was curious.
I just want it to be a blocker.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a fun combo. There's a fun combo going around right now with one of the new Edge of Eternity's cards. The Dawnsire something. Let me figure out which one this is. Sorry for not having it memorized, but Dawnsire Sunstar Dreadnought. When you get it to 10 charge counters, whenever you attack, it deals 100 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. So if you, people have been doing things with this where they blast Stuffy Doll with it, and then Stuffy Doll will deal 100 damage to a player, and then that player dies. So I don't know if you're interested in putting that in there just to be the ultimate supervillain, but I feel like that combo.
What card is this?
Dawnsire Sunstar Dreadnought. It's a new legendary artifact spacecraft. You could also use it as a commander if you want, which I might do someday. But that combo with Stuffy Doll is kind of ridiculous and stupid.
You could also because that's not an instant or sorcery. I was gonna say you could also just copy that ability, but yeah, that would work. That is really funny. You only have to get that to 10 charge counters too. This card is ridiculous. I guess you have to get it to 20 so it can attack. Although, couldn't you? Oh man, sorry. Now I'm just thinking about this. This isn't even for Ren's deck, but now I'm just thinking with this card. There's got to be cards that turn artifacts into creatures.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
just
plenty.
turn it into a creature and attack, and then you get it up to 10.
Yeah, there's I think a commander that does that.
Just a couple other cards looking at for value that you could run. Contract Killing. It's 3 and 2 black. Destroy target creature. Create 2 colorless treasure tokens. So 5 or 7 mana, destroy 2 creatures, but then you get 4 treasures for that. There's Deadly Derision. 2 black and a black. Destroy target creature. Create a treasure token. I actually like this one, Decadent Dragon. It's a adventure card, so the instant side is 2 and a black. Exile the top 2 cards of target's opponent's library face down. You can look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And then it's 2 red for a 4/4 flying trampled dragon that whenever it attacks, you make a treasure. Furnace Reigns, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap it. It gains haste. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token. I'm just looking like there's a lot of cards that have do something, create a treasure token that that just get like you could just copy and get a lot of value off of. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that does that. Oh, smashing success, destroy target artifact or land. If an artifact is destroyed this way, create a treasure token.
You had me at destroy target land.
Yeah, I know. I figured you might really like that one.
Listen, land destruction has to make a comeback.
Here's another one. This one's interesting. Megaton's Fate. So this is a Fallout card. At first I thought it said Megatron, and I thought it was one of the Transformers cards. Megaton's Fate. It has two options. The one that I think you'd be interested in. So it's 5 in a red, but it's destroy target artifact, create 4 treasure tokens. So at that point you're paying 8 mana to destroy 2 artifacts and get 8 treasures. Like that one's destroy 2 artifacts for free essentially.
I mean, it still uses Zevlor, but
yeah, it does use Zevlor, but I mean, you're creating 8 treasure tokens just essentially for a later turn, and you're going to get a lot of control off of it. I do think, yeah, that is probably something to consider with this deck. Is it would probably be pretty easy to kind of get lost in the sauce of like just spells that generate general value, but don't actually like progress your game plan. Maybe. I do think that creating treasure tokens, especially if you get some cheaper spells in the earlier turns, because your deck is going to want a longer game. Your deck needs the game. You don't think so?
I think the deck has to get ahead early, or else I think it fails. I think by turn 8 to 9, I think I'm in a bad position, because if I'm casting things on curve, then like you guys just have most likely better stuff, or even more than that, you can probably just counter my spell.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like this deck really hits its stride around turn 8 or 9. Because, I mean, that's when you're starting to cast those bigger spells and also having the 2 mana to copy it. Yeah, I think this deck kind of comes online. I'm curious what you think the early game's going to look like.
It's going to most likely look like, hey, I wish I was running a Soul Ring. I think that's how it's going to just feel, because I'm just going to be basically waiting until like I can spam out like a low cost spell with Zevlor. Maybe I can set you back, but I think if I'm not setting you back enough, then I just kind of lose.
Yeah, I get that. To be honest, one thing you might consider, and this would take a little bit of math on your side, is like basically having 15 or so spells that are 6 mana or higher that you want to copy with Zevlor. And then just like everything else is dedicated to ramping to 8 mana. You know? Like you want to copy spells that are 6 or bigger, and so you're going to spend like all of your curve. You're going to get a ton of like 1 through 4 dropped artifacts that are going to ramp you. Because you could just stuff your early game with that and just ramp as hard as you can.
Run Fire Diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds, all those.
You're in Grixis, so you get Relic of Sauron. That's 4 mana, add 2 mana of any color in a combination of red, black, or blue. So that one's good. You could do even like Dreamstone Hedron at 6 mana is still going to be pretty decent. But yeah, I would maybe just consider like absolutely loading up your early game with mana, and then card draw, like very generic mana and card draw, and then make your spells that you're going to copy with Zevlor only add in those spells at a higher mana range.
Yeah.
That might be something worth doing.
I have a great
Because I mean, really, go for it.
Okay, it's called Blast from the Past. It's 2 generic and 1 red for an instant. It has Madness, Cycling, Kicker, Flashback, and Buyback, and then it deals 2 damage to any target. If it was kicked, you create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. I feel like this just fits everything you're trying to do. Really, I do.
Is this a real card?
Oh yeah. It's real.
This is so dumb.
This is what I'm here to. This is what I'm here to bring.
Where did you find this card?
I've been working on it. Don't ask. I've been working through it.
So wait, what's the difference between flashback and buyback?
Flashback is cast from graveyard. Buyback is put back in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Buyback is an additional cost paid when you cast it.
This is a terrible card.
What's the card's name again?
Blast from the Past. I would love to see you do something with this. Like, if you put this in your deck and next week you like make a game, like an actual play where you kill somebody, like important creature with this, I would be so excited. I don't know how to make this good.
I do also like there's Super
Uh,
Duper Death Ray, which is also good. It's a instant, 2 generic and a red for an instant. It has trample, and Super Duper Death Ray deals 4 damage to a target creature. I feel like that's also an interesting hate spell.
It has trample. Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, so
Blast from the past is a silver bordered card.
yeah, yes, yes, it is.
I'm so disappointed.
Oh, you're not too good to play. You're too good to play silver border, but not too good to play multiple land destruction
Yeah, I
cards.
don't know. I feel like this is equally as
One of them is allowed in the game.
fair.
So
I think it's about time we move on to one of our other decks. Do either of you guys have any closing thoughts on this before we move on?
I don't have any.
I think I'm gonna win though.
Okay, yeah. I just am looking and thinking you have a 4-cost commander with a 2-cost activated ability. So like the cheapest spell and the fastest you'll be copying a spell is a 3-mana spell on turn 5.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's worth, like, you might have some that are worth copying like that. I think you really dedicate your early game to just ramp and just ramp and ramp and ramp. Because, like, really, you don't need Zevlor out. You're probably not casting him and using his ability with haste and casting a spell worth copying all in one turn, unless you're doing it on, like, turn 8.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I would go ham on the ramp.
I think you're forgetting that my ramp and you losing lands may be one and the same.
That's fair enough. All right,
Isn't that what lands
Bear, do you want to
are?
talk about your deck, or do you want me to talk about my deck?
I can talk about mine. Mine is a lot of fun. This is actually a deck I currently own. This was a gift from Ren and our other mutual friend, the Declinator. But yeah, this is.
I was gonna say he's not. We can just name drop it.
I don't want. He might be a guest. You never know. Either way, Runo Stromkirk. I don't have a fancy name for this one, but ultimately, Runo is a 1. I forgot is it Damir is blue black, right? Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay, 1 generic and then Damir. So 3 total. 4. A 1/4 flying legendary vampire cleric. When he enters, you can put up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it's a creature card with mana value 6 or greater. Then you get to transform Runo Stromkirk into Krothis, Lord of the Deep. So Krothis is ultimately the end goal of this deck, because whenever Krothis attacks, you create an attacking copy, a token copy that's a copy of another target attacking creature. And then, as you'll see, the theme throughout this deck is Leviathans, Krakens, Octopuses, and Serpents. Because if one of those is the copied target creature, then you make 2 of those tokens instead. So I've been playing this one for a little while now, and it's been a lot of fun. But as you can tell, the transform rule is a little bit difficult to hit with Runo. And so my goal for this deck is to really fine-tune it with you guys, get some suggestions for some things that maybe can help out. I have a plethora of really high-cost, high-power toughness creatures, but I just think hitting this is a little bit challenging. Lately, I've been self-milling or trying to find ways to get my cards into the graveyard and just leave Runo in the command zone for as long as possible, but sometimes that's just, doesn't happen very often. I feel like I get this transform about 50% of the time, and then by the time you transform him, somebody immediately murders him. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. I feel like the deck already plays decently well, but I think this week it would be fun to see if we can fine-tune it and get it better.
I've played against this deck. Very mid. Very, very okay. No, I'm just kidding.
It has its moments. Yeah.
No, the first thing that comes to mind is just running a ton of instant speed scry. I just searched scry in instant and found there's no way. There's got to be something.
Well,
wrong
the only
my
problem with
search.
Scry and Runo is that his whole ability is based off of cards from your graveyard going to the top of your. I mean, yeah, I guess you could use Scry to really stack the top. So
yeah, well, that's because he kind of he does stack it for you, but essentially it's like he enters, you have put something in your graveyard, hopefully,
Yes.
and then you put it on top of your deck, and then you hopefully don't shuffle, or at that point you can't shuffle or draw until the beginning of your next turn.
Very true.
And like, I almost feel like his second or his first ability is almost a trap, because I feel like there's like, it makes you think that he's going to make you do his own thing, but I don't think it's actually good to play around that ability. I think if you run, so like I searched Scry and Instant in blue and black, and there's 40 cards that came up.
Oh, interesting.
And you could also, and that's instants that have Scry. You could also define like activated abilities or creatures with flash or whatever, like ETBs or whatnot.
Sure.
But that's what I'm thinking is like, you just top deck manipulate. And you could even, there's a lot of, like I see you have some tutors in here. There's a lot of tutors that tutor things to the top of your library, which could be pretty fun too. But my first thought when I see this is just, yeah, like top deck manipulation. Make sure that you always know exactly what's on top, or you could even play with those cards that are like, play with the top card of your library revealed, or you can look at the top card of your library at any time.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
And then I think that opens up a whole lot of fun other stuff too, because you can do your really expensive big creatures that you're trying to sneak on top. But I think there's also a lot, especially in blue, there's a lot of like, whenever you scry do this, like you could probably start generating some value engines off of it as well. And then you make sure you're always hitting Runo's ability. That's what I'm thinking.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I definitely didn't think of. I appreciate that because I've definitely been playing into his first ability or the first line of text a little probably too heavily, which has led to some frustrations when I finally get him out. I get that creature on top of my library, and then somebody makes everybody draw a card, or somebody, they nuke Runo right away, and then that one moment has passed. So it's just too easy to miss it. And I think scrying often is definitely good. And I don't know, what do you think about my creature count right now? Let me go here and take a look. Let me filter by my type. I'm running 31 creatures, but I want to say that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I only have 10 creatures that would actually make this work. So that's a tenth of mine.
Yeah.
Is that good?
I do, and Ren, you can add in on this, because I remember when they helped you like build this deck. So for those of you who don't know, this was, I don't know why I'm the one telling the story, but this was the first deck that Bear built, and Ren and one of our other friends kind of helped him build it, and they bought it for him as like he was moving away from us, which was very rude.
Very sad.
They built it as like his going away gift. But if I remember correctly, it was kind of just Bear scrolling EDH and just being like, "Oh, that looks like a cool card. Well, that looks like a cool card." Like it kind of seemed like it was just sort of generally cool cards.
Yes. We definitely
like it didn't seem like it had a lot of synergy.
Yeah, we definitely prioritized, can we get Krakens and Leviathans and things? Can we get expensive ones that do cool things when you copy them? And I think there's a few key cards in here that work really nicely, if I can point those out quickly. I think
go for it.
Rexiel the Risen Deep, I think, is a great card. Island Walk, Swamp Walk is just so much fun. And then whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may cast a target instant or sorcery from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost.
That's awesome.
That's huge. I mean, Gyruda is just a great card. Doom of the Depths. I found that my best games with this deck have been when I can get Gyruda on top, because if I have Gyruda and I have a Mirror Box out, which is also the other slightly difficult, important key piece to this, is a Mirror Box allows me to have those copies without them just fizzling. But Gyruda is so good because each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, and then I get to put creature cards with an even converted mana cost out onto the battlefield under my control. And so if I have 3 of them out each turn, and then if I have another few each turn, it scales so quickly, it stacks so fast. So those are some of my favorites. But yeah, everything else, I feel like there's a lot of room for... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, if you really wanted to get nasty with this would be like, I think, really hard to pull together. But you could run Gyruda as your companion.
Ooh, okay, hold up. I
and
need
that
to
would
make
really,
it even,
then
right?
Yeah, everything would have to be even, which would be a huge pain. That's what I'm saying. Like building around a companion is a nightmare.
Oh, I'll do it for this purpose, totally.
With all the time you
but
have
you could do
for free,
that.
yeah.
Because with companions, how it works is you pay 3 to move them from exile into your hand. And so, I mean, already it's just like, well, that kind of sucks because he's a 9 cost at that point.
Sure.
But what you could do is you could run. Blue has a lot of impulse, so you could do a lot of draw and discard. So you could pay 3 to put him in your hand, discard him, and then bam, you cast Runo for 3, and all of a sudden Gyruda's on the top of your deck.
I like it.
Which is jumping through a million hoops.
Sure.
But that would be kind of fun. If you pulled that off, it would be sweet. I don't think it's worth it.
Sure.
I just think it'd be kind
With
of funny.
companions, if they die, do they just play the rest of the game as a normal creature, or do they go to like
Yeah,
exiled command zone?
they're basically just 101st card
Interesting.
that you have to pay 3 to tutor it. It's super odd, but yeah, then you just pay 3 to add an extra card into your deck. It's really odd. So yeah, then it's just a normal card. So just go to your graveyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would build around it. I think it would be actually really kind of a pain in the butt to get all of that to happen.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you want.
No, that's fair. Ren, what do you think? I know you played a pivotal role in the building and purchasing of this deck. I mean, mainly it was you, but what do you think about this scry move that we are going to potentially make here? But then also, what do you think about just the current state of the deck as it is now?
Instead of Scry, I might use Surveil.
Oh, that's true.
Oh yeah,
Good point.
always forget
Graveyard.
about those.
Yeah, Surveil is like Scry, except it's much more forgettable because it's newer and doesn't have nearly as much support.
Sure.
But that would work good. We built you this deck because you're a thalassophobe, so we thought it'd be
That's
funny
true.
to stick you in the ocean. Do you know what thalassophobia is?
It sounds like scared of. I'm assuming something to do with the ocean.
You're completely correct.
Scared of depth. It's like you can't be underwater. You can't be like in the ocean. So we just like to mess with him a bit. So when he was going off to the middle of nowhere, we decided to send him with his greatest fear.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say where you moved to? Because I feel like that's actually relevant to exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I moved to the
he
middle.
moved
Yeah, he moved to
nearest
Oklahoma.
I'm
The
landlocked.
nearest Whisker and Cornfield.
He's so landlocked. He's like as far away from the deep as you can get.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
so we decided to send it to him. I mean, Lake Michigan's pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm looking at Surveil.
But it's also
I'm looking at
1,000
Surveil
miles
cards
away.
here, and Surveil does have a decent. I mean, there's a decent number of black and blue. There's 141 when you go on Scryfall and you click in Surveil, in black blue. So I feel like there actually is probably enough support to really build something fun.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking my first thought is just kind of go through and like cut the fat. Like there is a lot of those cards that are just kind of cool, but they're just sort of in here, like Staff of Domination.
Yeah, not good. Not good. I just wanted that. I
No,
remember.
I mean it's a great card, but yeah.
I remember telling
Staff
them
of
I just
Domination
want
is
that
just in
card
here.
to own it.
Ashnod's Altar, not really sure. Like, there's just like kind of generically good cards.
I think sack. I don't even know if we actually ended up getting that, to be honest with you. But being able to sack a creature, I think, was the main goal with that one. Getting creatures to the
Tainted
graveyard.
Strike.
That
Tainted Strike. Target creature gains. And I mean, you could kill somebody with that. To be fair, yeah. Sunder.
Sunder. No, I'm leaving
Return all
Sunder
lands
in.
to owner's hands.
As long as I'm
Oh,
playing against
Lord.
you guys, I think I need to have Sunder in here.
Is that a destroy target?
Return all lands to owner's hands.
God bless.
Yeah, I'm thinking you just kind of look through. You do have 31 creatures, which does seem like a lot for this deck.
Sure. I think I can cut down.
I think you look through Cryptghast. I would cut Cryptghast. I don't like those kind of cards in anything that's not monocolored. I find that they rarely pay off.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of swamps in this deck either, so that's a very good point.
Yeah, just like I would just look through and find those cards that are like. I think that's just kind of everyone does that when they are early on building decks, is just kind of like, this is a good card that's on EDH Rec. People play it,
Yes.
so and you kind of just throw in. I would look for those cards because I bet you could cut 10 to 15 cards.
Yeah,
And I mean, what you cut, like there's some like I know Massacre Girl's in here.
it's a great.
She
card.
doesn't fit the theme, but I know you love Massacre Girl, so
Yeah, I think
that
my.
one.
Sorry, go ahead, Ren.
That card's in there because I said you're getting this card if I'm paying for the deck.
yeah. So I'm just gonna judge silently on that one.
I guess the other main concern, I think the two things I really agree. I think Surveillance Scry think really putting those in alongside maybe just a more selective group of 6 cost or greater Leviathans, Octopuses, and Krakens would be really good. But then also, I think one thing I need to figure out is protection for the commander. And I know we don't have a lot of time left, so we don't need to talk too long about this. But Runo is just such a key piece to the whole process. And then he becomes Krothus. And it's great that he has flying and evasion, but I feel like everything these days has flying. So just any suggestions on some key cards that could help protect? Should I go equipments? Should I just roll with any other spells that you can think of?
My absolute favorite card for this is I think it's called Key to the City. Let me look this up really quick. Make sure that's the right name. I play it in my Alesha deck, and it fits very well in this. Oh no, my internet is going.
Whenever
Key to the City. No, it's a 2-mana artifact. Tap, discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn.
That is nice.
I like that. I mean, in my Alesha deck, it's an amazing card just because, like, she wants to return stuff from the graveyard anyway.
Sure.
So you tap it, you can the card you want to revive for 2 mana. You attack with her. No one can block her, so she's just going to stay alive and survive through the attack. And then you revive that creature and you cheat it out for 2 mana. And so I think with Runo that even works well. Just because then you can potentially pitch those cards if you like. I mean, if you're playing, you run into this whenever you play really big, expensive creatures, is sometimes your hand just gets gummed up.
Yes.
And so it's not the worst to pitch one of those big creatures if you need. And then if Runo comes back out a second time, you can put a card that you pitched back onto the top. You got that graveyard synergy. So it's not the worst thing.
Sure. That's really helpful.
That's the one that comes to mind. I don't know if that's the best one, but that was what it came to mind for me. Yeah. Ren, what about you?
I am having major internet difficulties right now, so I can't actually pull up the Google Doc at all.
Oh.
But one card that always comes to mind is Sensei's Divining Top. It is excessively good.
For $40, I can put it in, I guess.
I mean, if you could. But I played a Yuriko deck for quite a while. A Yuriko CEDH deck. I wasn't just playing Yuriko casually, I swear. But there was a couple lands and a couple creatures that I focused on like bouncing back to my hand so I could use their repeat spells to like dig for what I need and just really sort things out. So I think that there's what is it? I think it's a 4-drop Merfolk that like it enters and then you get to look at the top 3 cards and then you can put them back. You can put any cards from your hand back onto the top in any order.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, let me find that for you.
So your concern, sorry, just to clarify, your concern is just that you're going to attack and then someone's going to block
and
kill.
And also, I mean, kill spells, granted. So something like Ward would be nice, but people tend to...
Whisper Silk Cloak.
Whisper
Silk Cloak. It gives your commander Shroud and unblockable.
I like it.
Well, would an equipment become unequipped when you transform him? I forget if transform creatures leave the battlefield.
Unless it says he is exiled and returned, no.
Yeah, very nice.
So does it say exile him and return?
No, it just says transform.
Yeah, then he doesn't. You're good.
Cool. Yeah, Whisper Silk Cloak would be good.
Transform would then be a repeat ETB trigger, and that would have been busted by probably someone in Simic.
Well, I was actually thinking about that. You could potentially run some Flicker in this. There's a decent amount of Flicker. Like you have Ghostly Flicker in blue, and you have some other stuff as well. I haven't looked through your Kraken package, but if they have any decent ETBs, that's not terrible. And then those do also work pretty well for protection if you can phase or Flicker. And on top of that, Runo has an ETB, so you could put something back on top and transform him again. I don't know if it's perfect. I'd have to
Yeah.
You'd want to play test that out a little bit. I don't know if that's your best bet, but that is definitely something to consider.
Yeah, I love it. I don't want to take much more of your time. I feel like this is a great place to leave off. I have some good next steps to take. So thank you.
Also, when we were building that deck, there was a lot of creatures that just didn't exist because I feel like Magic has ramped up pretty considerably in the last couple of years of how much stuff they're making.
Yeah, because this was what, 3 years ago?
Probably
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a card called Purple Pentapus. It's an octopus starfish for a 1 man.
Yeah, it's a 1 cost.
Yeah, it's a 1 cost, and then yeah, we can all fight. But like the lower cost cards that are like sneaking into those creature types would probably be pretty good, because then you can, play them with Runo, but it's not a feels bad if you have to use them early game.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. I think one last thing to consider is also just the fact that, like, I don't think you should get tunnel vision with getting Runo's triggered ability, the Crothus side, the creating the taps and attacking copy. Just because, I mean, when it comes down to it, you're also just going to be playing a bunch of giant creatures that want to attack and are going to like you're just playing a lot of big stompy creatures already.
Sure.
And like it might be worth just kind of thinking about it from that angle. Like if Runo is just getting hard removed, like you can still do some pretty powerful stuff, and you might just build around the fact that you have some other really big creatures.
Yeah. I think that's good.
That might be something to consider as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you guai
Yeah.
think that's a good place to move on.
Awesome. All right. The best time of the podcast, my turn. This is actually also a deck that I have in paper. But it's one that it's playable, and I just have not. Every time I play it, it just kind of feels very eh. So this deck is called Damia Delivers Diabolical Discard Dilemmas. It is a soft discard deck, headed by Damia, Sage of Stone. So she's a Gorgon wizard. She costs 4 and Soul Tie. 4/4 Death Touch. Skip your draw step. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have fewer than 7 cards in your hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So I like her as a discard commander, just because I think it's fun to be totally okay with pitching your hand all the time, knowing that you're going to be able to refill it. So she's kind of she's my parity breaker. I want to ramp up kind of to 7 mana pretty quickly, and I want to start making my opponents discard cards. And then around that time that I get her out, it's nice. Usually my hand's starting to run low by then. That way I don't have to run a lot of other card advantage. But essentially, yeah, I just make everyone kind of discard cards. It really trims people's stuff down, and then I can play Damia and just start drawing back to 7. And typically this deck does not win games. When it does win games, they're very long and very grindy, which is fun. I don't dislike that inherently. The problem that I kind of run into is that I've had some games where it's like I hit everything on curve. I can get Damia out by like turn 4 or 5. Good ramp. I've discarded people down to a couple cards, and then nothing really happens because I don't have a good way to end the game. And so the game just grinds out for a little bit, and then I get killed by something not even that powerful. Generally, what I found is that this deck, its ceiling is very low. It's not incredibly consistent. It's moderately consistent, but its deck is very low. Its ceiling is very low. And so even when it does exactly what it wants to do on pace, it goes from like a 15% chance of winning the game to like a 30% chance of winning the game if everything is going perfectly. So I'm kind of just not really sure what to do with it. I want to make it a bit more consistent. I want to be able to end games, but I don't want to just throw in a bunch of like big finishers. I don't want to just run Torment of Hailfire or Peer into the Abyss. I don't want to run Turgrid and just win the game because I play some giant creature or spell later on. So I kind of want to figure out how to turn the value that I can get off of that extra card draw, how I can turn that into a quicker, more decisive win without just casting one big spell. So that's where I'm at. I'm really excited to hear your guys' thoughts because I would like this deck to be better.
Well. You came to the right 2 people, because one of us is a supervillain and the other one is a bear. So we're gonna get this done.
Perfect. Yeah. You've played against this deck, correct, Ren?
Yeah, quite a few times actually. I noticed you have Notion Thief. Notion Thief is the only reason I've ever seen you win a game with this deck.
Oh yeah,
for-
that's right. Yes,
you
I
were
remember
having
that.
you were having like just a terrible time in the game, and I was like,
Yep.
I'm gonna wheel. It doesn't help me super much, but like I like it when people play the game. So I was like, "I'll wheel," and then he flashed out a Notion Thief, and now I believe I have a blood feud with his line.
Oh, it was so good. It was amazing because I really was having the worst game. I was doing
You
nothing.
had 4
And then
mana
all of a
on, like,
sudden,
turn
yeah,
10.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, it was a terrible game. And then all of a sudden, it was like I just drew 21 cards and everyone has discarded their hand. Oh, it was so funny. Um, yeah, yeah. Notion Thief is interesting. It is one of the only game changers I run because I ran it before it became a game changer. I generally I just don't play game changers pretty much. I had not deflecting SWAT, the blue one, Fierce Guardianship. I drew one of those and played it for a little bit and was just like, this isn't fun. It's just so much better than like it's just overpowered. I would because nobody in my play group plays those. Um, nobody really expects a free counterspell, so people would just look and be like, well, you're out of mana, I can do stuff, and it's like, oh well, actually I have this free counterspell. Um, I sold that because I didn't like playing it. And then they added Notion Thief to the game changers list after that. And so I've kind of had this like dilemma with Notion Thief on if I even want to keep it or not, just out of the sake of playing no game changers. Um, so I don't know if that one will stay in there or not. But
So, from the sounds of it, we're allowed to play 1 game changer in this deck. Bear, I'm gonna add a Mana Vault to my deck if you'd like to do the same. I would say your deck has an idea, but not a lot of support for the idea. Like, you've got a lot of
Mhm.
discard cards, which I do have a problem with the ones that you chose. I'll talk about that at a later time. Um,
I would love recommendations on what you
yeah,
think for better discard because I don't like sometimes I feel like it doesn't do discard very well. Like there are
yeah, it
times where it's
doesn't.
like I drew one discard card.
No, I can guarantee you it doesn't because you don't cycle through the deck enough. I feel like Damia is sitting at the top of the deck when she really isn't that useful. So let's just talk about the discard thing first. All of your discard
Okay, go for
things
it.
are each opponent, target opponent. You can just
Hmm.
play the older discard cards. It's like each player discards X cards because you'll be drawing up to 7. So you can make
Oh,
your
like don't
you
worry
can
about
yeah, no, you want to be paying that tax because then you can like if you've been drawing too many lands, you can only play 1 land a turn. Ditch the other 3. Like who cares? You can burn those. Um and it would help the deck's reanimator, I'd say sub theme kind of work better as well because if you're also discarding away stuff and then drawing back up to 7, then yeah,
yeah.
you've got a healthy graveyard. You've got a commander that's actually doing something because I feel like I never see Damia do anything.
No,
Um,
that's actually I'm so glad you said that because I can tell you exactly what happened. I remember like when I was scry falling for this deck, I was looking and I was like, most of these discards are specifically target player.
yeah,
And so
no,
I remember my scryfall was each opponent. Like I was specifically trying to find ones and not like I was trying to avoid it. I just didn't even think about looking at each player. I
no,
was
each
mostly
player.
focusing on I was just mostly focusing on well, if I want to target everyone instead of having like, oh, I spend one spell to make one player discard cards. I was trying to find ones that make everyone discard, but I didn't think to say each player. That's just that completely slipped my mind. I was just looking for each opponent when I
Yeah,
scryfalled. So I just scryfalled each player discards, and there's 78 cards that say that.
yeah. So you can get to look on that. Then I would say add some cards in that just kind of support your commander more. She's just not very good unless she's supported. To be frank, she's pretty garbage actually. I'd say.
You know
Drawing
what's
up to
funny?
7 is yeah. Go ahead.
I I agree with that. Archidekt says that Archidekt qualified her as a very powerful commander,
Yeah, if you're
which I thought was
supporting her.
so weird.
So she her
Sorry. Okay, how
ability
would
to
you support her?
her ability to draw up to 7 is pretty insane. It gets so much better if you're playing cards that like have whenever you draw abilities. Like my thought
Mhm.
is Psychic Corrosion is the one that immediately popped to my mind. There's an artifact version of this as well, where it's whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into their graveyard. So you'd basically be milling people out. So if you like want to just discard 5 cards to activate a spell, which is another way to do it, where there's like additional costs to spells.
Is that
you could
a keyword to discard something to pay for it? Like, is that
as an additional cost, discard a card. I
okay?
think is how it'd be written. But um, if you can just like put pressure on other players with Damia, I think that would make the deck better because Damia, a lot of the time, it feels like you're just playing a creature deck, but you're just kind of slowing people down until you can, you know, pick apart whichever creatures you want from your graveyard and cast Living Death and hope that it's enough.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what it feels like when I play this.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say just kick Living Death out of the deck, so you have to figure out how to make the deck work without it. Living
okay.
Death is a good card. I think it's a crutch in this deck.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Um, but one thing with Dami is that I did like when you were saying just like focus on her. I do need to think about that. Like you're right, she's not supported, but I was almost like that's kind of on purpose because essentially she was. I was thinking about building a discard deck, and I was like, well, what's the problem with discard decks? The problem is that I don't have any cards, and so then I was like, well, I could just run a commander that will draw me a lot of cards all on its own. So I put in Damia as a counterweight commander.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't necessarily to build around her, is that she was supposed to do what the rest of my deck wouldn't do. But so I guess I kind of need to think about like, do I want to keep that as part of this deck's identity? Um,
I think you're
and
misunderstanding what a counterweight commander does.
well, so my understanding is that it fills, you build a deck with a hole in it, and then the commander fills that hole. And
Yes,
so the hole in this deck is card draw essentially.
but you built a
Uh,
deck with a square hole, and you're like, I'm going to put this triangle through it,
Mm.
and that doesn't work. Damia needs something to do in the deck. She's a 4/4 Death Toucher, which is fine. She's 7 mana, which is expensive, but you're in Sultai, so it's pretty quick. But you've also just you don't have things for her to do. You have other draw. You've got Notion Thief. You've got Phyrexian Arena. You've got Compulsive Research, which all fine. Like that's great.
Mhm.
But you're not utilizing her abilities. You're not making game changing plays with her because you've just got each play or each opponent discards cards. You don't have anything for her to do. She's not impacting the game to the point where it's worth playing her instead of just playing Necropotence.
yeah, I get what you're getting at. I think I get what you're getting at.
Yeah,
I
just
do think that this deck definitely has a not well kind of an identity crisis. Um, where like I kind of want it to do specific things, and it wants to. I mean, it wants to discard. It wants to make sure that its hand gets filled back up at the beginning of the turn. It wants to play stuff from the graveyard. It kind of wants to also deny people stuff. Um, it wants to be like scrappy, but also I do still need to win a game. Um, so I think I'm definitely gonna have to put some thought into exactly what of those are most important and how do I want to play into them more.
Yeah. All right. It's
Uh,
time for Bears. Great card suggestion for everyone.
yes.
yes.
The card is
Which
called.
last week when you did this, that was actually what I ended up building. Like I built that whole deck around the card suggestion you gave. So
Well, I'm glad.
I'm
But
giving this a lot of weight.
okay. Sheesh, man, there's a lot of pressure. I feel like this is not gonna stack up. But it's called Checks and Balances. It's 2 and a blue for an enchantment. You can only cast a spell if there are 3 or more players in the game, and whenever a player casts a spell, each of that player's opponents may discard a card, and if they do, you can counter that spell. So this card, again, beautiful card. I really think this is just going to play right into the theme of what we're trying to
What was
do
the name
here.
of this again?
Checks and balances. But yeah, I mean, I think the idea here is we're soft. We're like soft discard, right? I know that was a term that you used in your initial idea share, and I think this kind of fits the bill. And it also adds a really fun, just kind of fun gameplay mechanic.
This one is also silver bordered.
Yes, that's why the pressure was
What-
a little bit intense for me.
This one is kind of funny. I don't know. I feel like I'm glad this card's silver bordered, to be honest. My only experience with something like this is Possibility Storm. And I really hated Possibility Storm. I think is let me make sure that's the right card. Possibility Storm is basically whenever someone casts a spell, instead they just exile it and then you just cascade until you find something of the same type. So like if you cast an instant, that spell gets exiled, and you flip until you flip another instant, and you cast that instant instead. And my experience is that that kind of card just sort of ruins the game because, um, like you can't get rid of it because your targeted removal gets exiled, and then you just like you have to luck into flipping a targeted enchantment removal, and it's just that sort of thing I don't find super fun.
Sure.
I get what you're saying. I think that would actually be that style of card it's really close to what I'm looking for. I actually don't think that like I think you're right. I think that does kind of fit the identity of the deck. And then it's kind of a little bit funny. You're just essentially denying people their resources.
Yeah, but it's only if everyone agrees to discard, which I think is the funny part, you know.
Yeah.
So
no, I think that's good. I mean that would just be super dependent on the play group, but I think that would just turn into basically everyone's stuff is getting countered.
yes, yes.
I don't know. I don't like the and I think that also maybe speaks a little bit to a problem that my deck's running into. That I think that fits the deck, and at the same time, I don't think that's a fun card to play. So,
well, I have an offering to this good card thing.
Yes.
I was thinking, how can you make full use of Damia and you don't want to just be like a jerk with other spells and you want to have your whole identity crisis? Well, have I got the friendly little guy for you? Scourge Familiar, flying 3/2 for 5 mana, 4 and a black. Flying, Phyrexian Imp, discard a card, add a black. You can ditch the garbage you have in your hand. Just you could do this with any discard outlet, to be honest. You could just make the deck run better.
Stuff like that in general, where you can discard an instant speed, I think is something I really should probably look at adding in. Scourge. You said Scourge Familiar?
Yes, Skirge.
Oh, it's a K. I was not finding anything.
Me either.
I see.
I was sitting here
Yeah,
questioning my spelling abilities.
Yeah. No, this one's super interesting. I wouldn't be able to keep that mana though, right? Because I skip my. Well, I guess if I skip my draw step, did I still?
No, mana disappears between phases of the turn, is what I understood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
if you,
I'm wondering if that.
If you go and you like respond to the upkeep trigger of I draw all these cards, you don't sit in upkeep afterwards. Like once you go through your triggers, it's done. Your upkeep is over. So you won't have like a time to swap. Be like before your main phase. No, you just go straight to main phase.
Okay. So I wouldn't get the mana, but I would just be discarding unless I had something instant. Well,
yeah.
No, because once I draw the cards, because I would draw all the cards on my upkeep, and then I could cast something instant speed with that, right?
No, because you don't sit in upkeep phase. If there's no more triggers, you automatically transition.
There's not like a.
No, there's no before you go to main phase.
What if I had a second upkeep trigger, or a whenever I draw a card trigger? So then there's additional triggers going on the stack. Could I then respond to those?
You could just use this during your turn though as well.
Yeah.
Because you could just be like, I'm 1 mana short and I've got 4 lands in hand. They're already mana. Might as well just make them 1-time mana.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
You can just like clean up your hand. You can make the machine run better.
Last question, because my time is running low. Should I just be running less utility lands in this? I feel like when I play this deck,
I was gonna ask what's up with these utility lands, man. You got 39 lands, and how many basic lands do we have? 4, 6, 8. We got 8 basic lands.
Yeah, it's not a lot. I was curious what you guys thought of that.
I mean, it's funny.
I think it's a waste of our time.
I like
basic
it.
lands are good.
I mean, really, in the spirit of the deck, you could really play. I mean, so actually, sorry, I lied. You have 3, 2, and 6. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 11 basic lands. You could play this entire thing with basic lands and probably be fine. But then again, this is kind of funny. I do like seeing this many utility lands.
It was really just like, how much random stuff can I do with my lands? And it's exactly that. There's just a bunch of random junk I can do with the lands, and I don't use half of it.
Oh my god.
But like I like this, like Mistrise Village. I can pay blue, and the next spell I cast can't be countered. That's nice if your commander could end up costing 10 mana or 9 mana, you know? It's nice to make sure she's not going to get countered, but I don't know if I need it.
But I think Mistress
So.
Village is the standout of all of them.
That's
So
true. That's
is
true.
there-
What?
You just
No, I
picked
didn't
the
just
best
cherry. I didn't
one.
just cherry pick the best one to make
Yeah,
myself
you
look
did just
good.
pick the. You just cherry picked the best one, and you were like, how could I ever get around this? And then I'm looking at it
Yeah.
like you have Wastewood Verge, you have Woodland Cemetery, you've got Thriving Grove. You want to play with Thriving Grove on Tabletop Simulator? Are you out of your mind?
All right. Okay.
Restless
Well,
Cottage.
I am excited to see how this works. Um, Especially with two of us running discard decks this week. For the record, we don't like plan like we each just bring a deck. It's not like we're planning. Like it wasn't like any of us were like, hey, let's all play resource denial this week. There was no such thing. We each kind of choose our themes independently.
It's true.
So
Or on the spot, in my case.
or on the spot today
Yes.
in Bear's case. Which I think it worked well. I think this was a good deck to do.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is the exact kind of scenario for our kind of decks to sit together
Yeah.
and talk about them and why, maybe in your case, why one's playing a certain way, and in my case, how it could be better. So, yeah, I like it.
And in my case, why am I doing this?
Yeah, it's always
Who
a
told
great.
you to do this? Was this a good idea? Are you happy with
Because you have younger siblings that you like to bully. That's why.
Yes.
I'll have you know, he's better than me. I think he's just better than me at this point.
All right.
That's true.
Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Ren, I hope you get feeling better. Bear, I hope you decide to move far, far away from Oklahoma soon.
Yeah.
You better be careful which direction you're asking me to move. I mean, hey,
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's true.
distance.
You have the whole.
He's gonna end up in Vermont. No, not Vermont.
All right. This has been the Magic We Have at Home podcast. We will see you guys next week for playtesting. Thanks for listening.
All right, goodbye.